So we are back with another, why do I always say we? Like, I mean, I'm including you, but I don't know why. I am back with another coffee time video. My name is Trace Anula, and this is obviously my channel, and I kind of wanted to come at it with something a little bit different today, something just very on it. I can't sit. I'm like, okay, calm down, Teresa. I'm sitting very oddly right now, so if I keep fidgeting, it's because I'm not that comfortable. I don't know why, but I felt the need to put my foot up or something. Like I need to always sit Indian style, and I can't do that because I'm sitting on a stool. So I thought, oh, I'll just use two stools, but it's not working out very well for me. So my foot will probably fall asleep at some point during this video, and let's see how that goes. But like I was saying, I do want to try something a little bit different today. One thing that's different is I am drinking decaf coffee because I have been up pretty much all night. I was up until I think 7:30 this morning working on a project, a deadline. Everything got up on time, and that was great. But then I had the fantastic idea, horrible idea maybe, but we've all had them, of trying to fix my sleep cycle by just staying up for the whole day and going to bed early finally, because I have been staying up pretty consistently till at least 3 to 5 a.m. every single day for almost a month now. So it's horrible because I don't want to stay up that late. I just can't sleep at night. So it's super frustrating, and I was like, this is a perfect opportunity, just stay up. Of course, I also sat in my bed while I was saying that, so I definitely fell asleep at 7:30, 8 o'clock, and then I woke up at noon. But noon wasn't too bad. That's not very much sleep. So my goal is to talk to you, have a glass of decaf coffee, and then go to bed around 8:30, 9 o'clock tonight. So let's see if we can do that, and hopefully wake up super early tomorrow, at least by 8 o'clock. That would be great because I'm just more of a morning person. It makes me feel kind of guilty when I wake up really late, and then I feel like I wasted a good portion of the day. So that is my plan for that. But the reason that I stayed up so late was because I was working on a project. It's a fairly new project, me and some friends on a joint channel on YouTube and Instagram. It's called Walking Produce. We started a podcast a few weeks ago, and it just seems like I'm kind of the main person working on that right now. So it involves a lot of legwork in a lot of respects, and therefore I'm up really late trying to meet different deadlines and whatnot. So what I wanted to talk to you about today, and the reason for all that rambling, was I want to talk about what you should consider when you bring on a new project, because this year was supposed to be my year of no. At least that's what I went into the year. Everyone goes into the year with some sort of resolution or, an idea of who they want to be going into the new year, what they want to change, and what they want to continue moving forward with. For me, I've realized over the past few years that I give a lot of my time to other people and their projects, which is great because I have learned so much and had some extraordinary experiences helping other people achieve their goals and create really creative projects. The only problem is I believe I use, or at least in the beginning of the year, I believed I was using this as a crutch. I felt like I'm using this as a form of procrastination. If someone else has a project, then I will throw myself into it full force, and I will always do whatever I can to meet their deadlines. I feel like I'm hunching, but also, I don't know. I'm comfortable, but it feels weird. So sorry, but yeah, I'll do everything. I found that I'll do anything and everything to meet other people's deadlines and help them achieve their goals. But when it comes to my own, I'm very nonchalant and very used to having to just push my personal goals aside and prioritize everyone else's, because of course they have deadlines and I have to meet them. But I never give myself the same respect. Even if I give myself a deadline, I'm very willing and able to adjust that deadline in order to, you know, make the rest of my life work, whether it's my day job or someone else's project. It just seems like my own personal goals and ambitions have been pushed aside for the past few years. And going into 2020, I wanted to make it just the year of me. I wanted to achieve my goals. I wanted to put out my first collection, and I just really wanted to go full force into being a designer, and really having something to show for myself. I make one-off pieces now and then pretty consistently. Like every year I'm working with, you know, a few people making different things, or I'll do one small collection for a photo shoot or whatnot, or a video shoot. But I really wanted to create something substantial, something sellable, and something that was truly me and truly unique to how I think and who I am, because I feel like I do have something to say as far as fashion goes, and you know, I was ready to do that. And so the year of no began, and it kept getting pushed aside, and now we're in March, and I wanted the collection to come out in April, and there's really no collection in sight. We've got one blouse so far out of the collection, and it's just seeming impossible. And I've kind of just accepted that it's not gonna come out right now, and I've accepted that putting all those deadlines and all those goals didn't really help me, because at the end of the day, I did exactly what I was afraid of doing. I put everybody else's projects ahead of mine, but I didn't say yes to anyone. Don't worry, I kept with the year of no. It's that instead of having to be asked to help someone, I anticipated everyone's needs, and I created work for myself. So, you know, people were saying yes to me. I wasn't having to say yes to anyone. It was a great loophole in the plan. I got to do so many amazing things, but it still, at the end of the day, went against everything that I was trying to do this year. Instead of coming out with my collection, I made 2 music videos. One has already been released and included 3 songs. So it was a 9-minute music video, which is a pretty big deal. That's a lot to put together in just 2 days. Came up with the concept with a friend. The roles got blurry, so we did a lot in every aspect, but I pretty much ended up coming up with the concept, directing, and producing this 9-minute music video for my boyfriend, and I did all the costumes for it, which was originally all I wanted to do for it, but and I acted in it, which also I wanted to do for it. So pretty much, and I was the one that was doing the output and helping with the marketing and doing all of the images for it, like making sure there was a photo shoot during the video, so we had marketing materials to put out there for the video. I made the trailer for the video. I did so much for this video when it was supposed to be the beginning of my year of no, but it was awesome, and I really, really enjoyed it. And right before the video, I believe right before I started the video, I started walking produce, which is another thing. I was supposed to be just focusing on me. But I had the feeling that starting out the year, I had the idea that maybe things were going awry. Maybe I wasn't focused enough on myself, and maybe I can't be trusted. So I came up with the idea of walking produce. And Walking Produce was supposed to be a group of young creative people that are holding each other accountable online. It is not supposed to be any fuss. You're supposed to just, follow the prompts, post what is required via the prompts, post updates on the day of the week that you own. I currently own Monday, so I post the stories on the Instagram channel and I post according to the prompts. But you're not supposed to worry about taking time to edit the photos for a long time or, using professional equipment. It's just supposed to be, what motivated you today? Post a picture. Something that will keep you, motivated, but also not make you take time away from what you're supposed to be doing. For me, the collection. So it seemed great. I got 5 friends to do it. In the end, or 4 friends to do it, and with me there was 5. So that was all the days of the week, not including the weekend. And that seemed awesome. First week, everyone was super inspired and motivated to do it. We ended up losing one friend who just didn't have time for, everything that was involved, I guess. But still, having 4 days of the week is still awesome. And it really worked out in the end to have 4 of us. And the first few weeks were super inspiring. We ended up doing the music video. Me, my boyfriend who's also in the group, and one of my really good friends, all 3 of us ended up working on the music video. I don't know why that just took so much out of me to say, but we put the music video together. So 3 of the 4 members of Walking Produce created Heartbreak Kids, the music video. So it just felt super inspiring. We're producing stuff, and we're, being really consistent on all the social media platforms that we're a part of, and we're motivating each other to do our own projects as well. So it was going great. And then after that, or during that, while we were working on this music video, while we were editing it, so it took us 2 days to film, probably 3 days to prepare for it, and then I think we had like 4 days to edit it, and that mainly landed on Mora's shoulders, editing the actual video. And so while I was sitting with Mora going over the edit of the video, we decided to film our first episode of the Weekend Update Walking Produce podcast. So there goes another thing on the plate. And then from there, there was some little things. Oh, we ended up filming a ton of episodes of the podcast, of course, the next month. And that to gear up for like the release. And I helped Mora work on a couple of her projects, but just minorly. She doesn't need that much assistance generally. But so I was helping other people a little bit with their projects, and then working on the podcast a lot. And then I also filmed another video, just me and Roosevelt, or Tyrus, you may know him by. We filmed another music video that has not been released yet, just the 2 of us. I shot the whole thing. I came up with the concept of it, and I'm going to edit it. So it's another big project on the plate. And then Mora came up with the idea that she wants to do 60 days of posting on YouTube to get more consistent, because her thing is filmmaking and she wants to become better at all aspects of creating film and just visual arts in general. So she's posting for 60 days on YouTube, and I thought, oh my gosh, I am not focused at all. This collection is never gonna come out. I barely sew. What can I do to, get on track? I'm gonna join her and post for 60 days. Duh. Which I am currently doing. But actually, I feel like it has been helping me. Of course, the last few days, I have not been posting Sew With Me live streams, because if you did not see my previous videos, I actually broke my computer while I was, again, helping someone else with one of their project releases. I was helping someone create visual, how do I say it? kind of like convert a song into a YouTube video, like where you have the thumbnail and all of that, to upload it, and uploading it to all the different platforms, including, you know, SoundCloud and YouTube and stuff like that. So, and also, you know, the marketing element of that. So I was doing all of that to assist someone, and I spilled my drink all over my laptop and completely destroyed it. So it can no longer live stream. It can still kind of surf the web, but it can't watch YouTube videos or live stream in any capacity. I tried it and it just was atrocious. So I've just been posting these videos in the meantime, but the reason I decided to do the 60-day challenge was because I wanted to do it in a different way. Yes, I don't think that I have time to produce and edit video content every single day. I have been putting some sort of content out for the last week and a half, I believe. But a lot of them originally were sew with me videos, where it was just me sitting in my room and sewing and talking to the camera while I sewed, which was just getting me to sew more than I ever have, which was awesome. Absolutely awesome. And I feel like it was one of the best decisions I've made to start doing those, because it's kind of exciting and motivating to me as someone who's like, you know, trying to get back into the thing I used to love and push myself to complete a project that I am very passionate about. I do care about it, and I know that what I want to do is unique to anything that I have seen out there. But it's just pushing myself because it's such an overwhelming big project. It's just pushing myself to actually do it. Especially because I feel like something that can kind of get me down a lot is that I'm not really around other people that do the same things as me. I feel like in some aspect, I'm kind of a chameleon in that if someone needs assistance with something, I can jump in there and sub for whatever they need. Okay, someone needs someone to act in this video, I'll do it. I don't think I'm any good at it, but I can be that filler. Someone needs to edit the podcast, I'll watch a bunch of YouTube videos and I'll download the software. I already have Adobe. They have a software in the Adobe suite to edit podcasts. I'll do it. You need someone to handle the marketing? I've got it. I've done it for other people. I can do it for you. But as far as making clothes goes, that's just me. I don't really have many friends that sew or are passionate about sewing, except for people that I follow online, which is great. That's an amazing source of motivation. But then when the creative people in your life on the daily don't really understand where you're coming from, where like your mindset is, and like why you find something overwhelming, like how much work actually goes into something, it can just be stressful on top of all the other reasons why it's stressful, which I think the main reason that I haven't put out more work sewing isn't because I'm not great at it, because honestly, I am. I know, I mean, that was like really bold to say, but I know that I can be. Like, I know that I am a talented seamstress. I've been taught by so many people over the years. I've done so many internships, so many jobs, and I went to school for so many years for not only design but also sewing. And I have like, I take care in like what I make, and I love, not even just like, I love to take an extra 2 hours to sew something so that you can't see the stitch. I love sewing things by hand and just doing things in a way that is a little bit more time consuming but so much more beautiful. And yes, 99% of consumers don't want that because the price on that is way too expensive, and they're not flipping the garment inside out and looking at it. They don't care. And so I know the market that I want to get into is niche. And that also deters me. And it also deters me that I honestly have no confidence. I know it doesn't sound like that right now, but whenever I hype myself up and I feel motivated to start a project, I get so far. I get to like 80% done. And then when it gets so close to the end, the Felicity Blouse I'm currently working on for Trace Anula that I started in one of my live streams is a perfect example. It is 98% done. And that 98% of the garment that is already done is beautiful. Like, I am obsessed with it. I know I'm the one that made it, and that sounds really narcissistic, but I am so excited and proud of it. But I am holding back from doing that last 2% because I feel like I can't. I feel like I'm going to ruin it in the last 2%. There's no way that I could do it good. There's no way that it's going to end up the way that I planned on. It's going to fall flat. It's going to end up being wonky. No one would ever buy it. It's just going to be another piece that hangs in my closet that I do nothing with. And all of this, even if I'm not saying any of this out loud, except for right now in this moment, but all of that weighs on me. And I think it's just over time, like my whole life just feeling like just missed the mark. It was great, but not there. It's almost there. And like with design, that's everything. Because to have a decent design is to be mediocre. It's to have something fit but be just off. If you just like edit a design, tweak it by 1/4 of an inch, you could change the whole thing. Move one seam over 1/4 of an inch. Take one seam in 1/4 of an inch. You can change everything with just the smallest things with design because it's the eye. So many people, put work out there that is almost there. It's such a good idea. It's such a good concept, and it just misses the mark. And I feel like I have always felt like that's me, even though like my friends say to me all the time when I help them with projects and stuff that I have an eye. Like, I notice things. Like, for example, if I'm on like a set with someone, I will be the person that runs up and I'm like, oh, the shirt is tucked in wrong. Wait, fix that. Or filming a scene in a movie, for example, if someone like had a headband in one scene and doesn't have it on in the next scene, I'm the person that's going to notice that, like the little details. I do notice these things, but for some reason I feel like I'm never good enough. Like when it comes to my own work, it's always going to fall flat and no one's ever going to want it. And so I always kind of let myself down in thinking that, what's the point, pretty much. And what's funny is this video, I'm catching myself right now. This video was supposed to be about what to consider when taking on a new project. And it kind of just became a spiral about me and my year of no, and how it hasn't really been a year of no, and what's been getting in my way. And I think that's kind of great because it is kind of, I feel like I still kind of covered what you need to consider when you take on a new project, because in the grand scheme of things, you need to think about if you have time. I talked about how I really didn't have time, but I took them on anyways. You have to consider what percentage of the project you're gonna do. I talked about tons of projects that I had little to do with or had a huge role in. You need to consider if there's any financial cost to you. I didn't really talk about that, but that is a great note. I think I'm gonna make a different video to go kind of further in detail on that. And then another thing that I did talk about is do you have the skills you need to do this task if you're considering taking on a new project, which, like, for example, I stayed up all night working on the podcast. I've done it for a couple weeks now because it's new and I'm just learning and I'm getting used to it, and I'm the main person doing everything with it. And that's fine because I want to continue doing it, and actually I have a plan in place to have someone take my spot as the editor. But I'm glad that I did it because now I know what it takes, and if I do have any notes on what's happening as far as the edits goes, I'm going to, have a solution. Like, I kind of know how the software works if something doesn't sound right. Since I have been doing it for a few weeks, I kind of have a little bit of understanding as to how to fix certain things. A little bit. But yeah, as far as do you have the skills that are required, it's okay if you don't. Like, I didn't. But you have to have a game plan on how you're going to acquire them, and also really consider how much time that's going to take, because, pretty much I haven't given anything up in order to take on this podcast, except as far as like my own projects and stuff. I'm still doing the Sew With Me videos. I'm still putting out videos every single day on this channel, and I'm still, working my normal job and all of those things. But I have kind of given up, in a sense, a key aspect of life, which is my sleep, which is pretty much 3 weeks in a row. I stayed up pretty much until the podcast had to come out because the deadline is at 5 a.m. on Sunday morning. So I pretty much don't sleep Saturday night at all for the last 3 weeks. This week will be different because actually the reason I didn't sleep last night was a complete just mistake. I started editing the wrong episode, and the episodes are kind of consecutive, so we refer back to the other episode, like the first episode in the episode I started editing, and I did not realize it until I edited like all of the audio. I didn't start editing like clipping anything out or anything like that, but I edited the audio and made it sound good. And then I realized that it was when I started to listen to the episode, I realized it wasn't the one I was supposed to be putting out today. So I had to go back and edit a whole nother episode and then clip that episode and do all of the graphics, and I had to change some of the marketing materials for it because the original marketing materials I asked for were for, a different topic. So in a way, it worked out because now going into next week, I am really prepared because I have half of it done already. I have the marketing material and I have the podcast halfway edited. So that's absolutely amazing. But that's all kind of things that come along with taking on too much. You make simple mistakes when you're taking on too much. You start to miss the details when you're doing so much. And so I don't really know what the point of this coffee talk is. Pretty much it's just a deep dive and reflection into where I currently am at after staying up all night. And we're 4 months into the year. We've fully completed 3 months. We're going on the 4th, and my collection, like I said, I have one piece. And I'm finally putting out content on YouTube, which is super exciting because I've wanted to do it for years. You can see that very clearly if you look back at the history of my channel. Yeah, so it's this weird thing, I guess, to sum it up, of I'm grateful for every opportunity I've had. I'm grateful for every time I've, turned a no into a yes. And I don't want to stop doing anything that I'm currently doing. I absolutely love the podcast. I am really enjoying walking produce. I feel like it's inspiring me. and I like posting on YouTube, and I really like doing those sew with me videos. So hopefully my computer will be here in the next 2 or 3, well, I don't know what this is, 2 or 3 days. And because I did 2-day shipping, but it's the weekend, so I don't really know what that means. I normally do, but with the whole COVID-19 and like everything being delayed, I don't know. So hopefully by midweek I will have a laptop and we might be able to make something on a sew with me video. But yeah, so everything I feel like is going in the right direction, and I feel like it's going to happen, like it's going to come together, but it's just, okay, so someone just called me and interrupted me trying to conclude this extremely long coffee talk video. But yeah, so pretty much all I'm saying is I am super grateful for everything that has happened so far this year. I am noticing I really chipped nails. I'm sorry, again, I've just been working. But I'm very grateful for everything. I do not wish to, cut anything out of my life at the moment. But I do really want to clarify that I am drastically trying to shift my focus. Because, as great as all of the opportunities I've had are, at the end of the day, I don't want, to just be the sidekick. I want to accomplish my own personal goals. And so moving forward, that is my sole focus. And on this channel, I want to make that a really clear focus of, just producing content that aids me in becoming a better human, a better seamstress, a better just person in general, like more confident, more socially aware even, because, as far as my fashion line goes, I want to make purely upcycled clothing, and I really want to educate myself on what is sustainable and what is not, because if I want to be a part of that market, I want to know as much as possible about it. And I also just want to become a better human as far as like health is concerned. I want to be more active. I've started at the end of last month, like running more frequently. And then COVID-19 kind of came along and changed my whole mindset on it. And I've just been staying in way too much. Like, I know we're supposed to stay in, but as far as physical activity goes, it doesn't hurt to, either do a yoga video or, a ballet bar video or go for a run, because I am blessed enough, even though I live in the city, I live right next to a giant, beautiful park that is very quiet and secluded, and I could easily go outside and go for a run. So I want to push myself. I want to eat healthy. I do, for the most part, eat really healthy, but I'll go through like ebbs and flows. So I'll eat super duper duper healthy for like 3 weeks and be packing my lunch, never eating out, and then all of a sudden I'll just, refrain from going to the grocery store for too long and just start eating junk food for a week straight. So not literal junk food, but just, packaged stuff and, frozen and whatever's left in the fridge. But yeah, so that's pretty much my game plan for the next year. I don't know if there's any meaning to this video, and I don't know why you're still watching it if you are. But yeah, this is my channel, Trace Anula. If you are interested in getting tons of super rambly whether they are on sewing or just on life in general and how to be a better person, go ahead and subscribe. And if not, thank you for at least joining me on this video, because I appreciate it. So have a great day or night. Bye.